So in a previous recording we made the track mats. I stopped the recording and I just continued on working on this. And what we're especially interested in is, of course, this edge that will separate our object from the foreground. So these edges are not really very important. It's basically this edge that you want to get right. If the track is perfect, then you wouldn't really have to do any manual keyframing. And if this wall was just perfectly straight, which it is not, then also this wouldn't be so many keyframes. But basically on this one here, if I reveal the keyframes, there's quite a few keyframes just to make it fit and stick pretty well. So what we have to do now is we have to basically make the track mat. If we have a look at the track mat, so if I just only look at these layers which I just built, and you look at the alpha, you can go here and look at the alpha. So this is what we are looking for. So everything that's behind this is basically going to be obscured by these rocks, by this wall that I've rebuilt in 3D. Okay, so now we have to make the track mat. I made it here in a previous exercise, but I'm just going to delete it again. How do we do that? So it's this ground text that is now behind. If I isolate this one as well, and I go back to my RGB channels. So what you can also do, so you can go here and go to your RGB, or you can just press the Alt key and go here, and then it will actually toggle between the two. So I want to see this again, and so now you see my text is going to be nicely separate. But I have to make a track mat on this layer here. So in order to do that, what I need to do is I can only make a track mat on the layer just above the one that I'm using. So if I go here and I select alpha inverted for a track mat, it will only give me this wall top high, which is basically the layer that's on top of this one. So I need to pre-compose these. I select all three of them. I go here to the top, I select layer and hit pre-compose, and I will call this wall track mat. Only two T's, there we go, and hit enter. So now we have one layer here, but it has disappeared. So if I unsolo, the layer has disappeared, and the main reason for this is because it is no longer, the pre-comp is no longer a 3D layer, but we're looking through a 3D camera, so this is not existing anymore in our 3D space. There are two ways to fix this, or I can collapse the transformations. So for comp layers, collapse transformations, if I do that, there goes my track mat again. But another way to do it is to copy this camera, hit Control C, double click on this composition, this pre-comp, and paste my camera, Control V, into this layer. So now this 3D camera, which is basically the same as the one in this composition, it's exactly the same, is now looking at these 3D layers, and I'm now getting the same result. So I don't need to collapse my transformations anymore. Either way is good. And then the next thing that we should do is, of course, now tell here that this ground layer uses the layer above as a track mat, and it's the inverted of the alpha. If I would use the alpha, I would get this, and then it would be not the real good Excel. See, it's the opposite. I need the inverted of the alpha. So now it's going to work just fine. And there we go. context is revealed.